Good morning, Sharana present here. I'm Ramya Devi working as Assistant Professor in SNS College of Technology. Today I'm going to share a small article regarding CSS and CSS3, which plays a major role in designing modern websites. We already know that HTML creates the structure of a web page, but without CSS, every website would look plain and unattractive. CSS is the technology that makes websites colorful, responsive, and visually appealing. So today we will understand why CSS was introduced, how it works, different types of CSS, modern CSS3 art features, and real-world applications. So why CSS was introduced? Initially, websites were created only with HTML. They contained text, images, and links, but they looked very simple and boring. To solve this problem, the Worldwide Consortium introduced CSS in 1996 to separate the web page content from its design. So, this made websites easier to develop, maintain, and update. So, like imagine reading a newspaper printed only in black text with no headings, colors, or images. Will it be boring, right? So, it would be difficult and boring to read also. So, similarly, like HTML provides a content while CSS makes it attractive and easier to understand. So, like basically, what is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It tells the browser how a web page should look. Using CSS, we can control colors, fonts, sizes, layout, spacing, and animations. Think of HTML as the skeleton of a human body, while CSS is the dress, hairstyle, and makeup that give it an attractive appearance. When you open Amazon, products are neatly arranged. When you open Instagram, every profile has beautiful spacing and design. These visual effects are created using CSS. Uses of CSS. CSS has many like so this is a real-time example of using a CSS. Now HTML we have created and with it's a picture with which is not more attractive, and while CSS while appealing makeup or hairstyle, so the picture looks more attractive. So the main use of CSS is CSS has many important uses like styling content. It makes text colorful and attractive, like news websites highlight breaking news in red. And also the layout design. CSS arranges web page elements properly. For example, Amazon displays products in organized rows and columns instead of randomly. And also it has responsive websites, which allows websites to adjust automatically to different screen sizes. For example, a website works perfectly on both a laptop and a mobile phone. And also the reusability. One CSS file can style hundreds of web pages. This saves both time and effort. And also CSS creates smooth transitions and animations, like buttons change color when you move the mouse over them. And also we have so many types of CSS. So like inline CSS, internal CSS, and external CSS. It styles only one specific element. For example, highlighting one important word in red. And in internal CSS, it styles a single web page like a college department web page having its unique design. Also, external CSS, this is the most commonly used method in companies. One CSS file is shared across multiple web pages so that, for example, suppose Amazon wants to change its button color from yellow to orange. Instead of editing thousands of pages, developers update just one CSS file and every page changes automatically. And these are the code for inline CSS, like code snippets. And this is the basic syntax of CSS. First, we'll use selector, and then the selector has property, and then the eval. And this is the CSS box model. So, like CSS introduced many exciting features like rounded corners, shadows, gradients, and then transitions and animations. Like rounded corners, instead of sharp edges, buttons and cards have smooth rounded corners. Example like login buttons in Google or modern websites. And shadows give depth to text and boxes, like product cards on Flipkart or Amazon appear raised because of shadow effects. And gradients like backgrounds can smoothly change from one color to another color. Like many mobile apps use gradient backgrounds for a modern look. And transitions create smooth changes instead of sudden ones. When you hover over a button, it changes color gradually instead of instantly. And the animations allows objects to move without JavaScript, like loading icons, notification effects, and image sliders. And Flexbox arranges items efficiently in one direction, like navigation menus, where all menu items items stay aligned properly. And grid is useful for arranging content in rows and columns. Uh, like example, if we have been using these features in so many real-time examples. Like for example, in a product card shown in this presentation is also a practical example of CSS3. And see how it has been. It has a rounded corner, shadow effects, and hover animation, and proper spacing, and an attractive button. So whenever you browse products on Amazon, Flipkart, or Myntra, every product is displayed using similar CSS styling techniques. So HTML provides the structure of a web page while CSS makes it beautiful and user-friendly. CSS further improves websites by introducing responsive layouts, animations, modern designs, and interactive effects. Because of these features, CSS has become one of the most important technologies in modern web development. Thank you.